If you wanna know what pops to get, then pop on down to the Poppers Pit. Like, share, subscribe are the buttons to hit when you pop on by to the Poppers Pit.
What's poppin', Poppers? Welcome back to the Poppers Pit, my YouTube show where I share my love of Funko Pops with you. Now, before I start today's episode, I'd like to point out that the Poppers Pit is always ever evolving. This right here is a temporary fix because I figured out right before I was recording this episode the best way to reduce that glare in the Pops, but I didn't want to have to completely redo the set, so I took a box and it was strong enough to support this, and I put the Infinity Gauntlet in it. That way it wasn't just an open space. And so next episode, this will all be different. Also added some lights, and we're getting fancy here. So I'd also like to thank everybody who's been hitting that like, share, and subscribe button and telling your friends and family about the Poppers Pit, because my last episode, the AEW All Out review, has been one of my most viewed videos. It outranked my previous two videos within days. So let's just keep this momentum rolling, people. I'd also like to give an update about the Avengers Endgame Walmart Exclusive Ronin. I received an email telling me that the order that I told you about my last episode was canceled because it was out of stock. So I did what anybody else would do. I went to make sure that it was out of stock. They said it had 2 left, so I put it into my cart. I checked out. I saw that there was free shipping because if you put it to a FedEx facility or a FedEx shipping center or whatever it's called, and I got it for free shipping, regular price, so it's a win-win-win. So I definitely will let you know if I get any updates about that and when it actually comes in. And I still haven't heard anything about the Scrappy Doo yet. But let's get into today's episode. Today I feel that it's a special episode because it answers a question that many people have been asking me of what's your favorite pop? I don't really have a favorite pop, but I can tell you one of my most important pops are the Funko Pop exclusives, Boo Boo and Yogi Bear. Now, why is it important to me? It is important to me because my nickname for my first niece was Boo Boo when she was born, because I'd go, "Hey, Boo Boo," and she'd smile. So I just kept going, "Hey, Boo Boo," and eventually it turned into her nickname. So that's why I feel that these are important. I actually paid a little bit more than most people would pay for pops for them because I just had to have them because of the importance to me. And I'm releasing this episode around the time of her birthday. So happy birthday, Boo Boo. So as you can see, they are one of 5,000. So that's why they were a little bit more expensive. I'd also like to point out something that I noticed about this. If you notice Boo Boo's head in comparison to Yogi's head and all other Funko Pops heads, Boo Boo almost has a normal head in the sense where it doesn't have that exaggerated size head where like Bobble's head would have. I don't know if it's because of the size of his body or whatnot, but I just found that interesting because look at the size and shape of Yogi's head and look at Boo Boo's. It's almost like it's just a vinyl figurine of him instead of a Funko big figurine. But either way, I like it. They look like the characters. There's really not much bad I can say about this. There's also a flocked version of these in the sense of that they have material on them where it feels like fur. I do not have those, but these are good enough for me. So for those who do not know who Yogi Bear and Boo Boo are, they are Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters. They debuted on the Huckleberry Hound show with Ranger Smith, who I have behind here. He came with the set. He got his name as a play on the New York Yankees catcher Yogi Berra, but his mannerisms and his look and his voice are based off of Art Carney's Ed Norton from The Honeymooners. with the hat, the tie, and the hey, how you doing? That's the way that Ed Norton would speak on The Honeymooners. So, fun fact also that I learned about this is that notice that Yogi Bear and Boo Boo have things around their neck. They have a tie and they have a collar. It was a trick for some Hanna-Barbera cartoons to have their characters have their neck not be showing, because they're able to have the bow tie and the tie and collar be stationary. That way they didn't have to keep animating the head and the neck. They would just have to animate the head, which would save a lot. Actually, the numbers that I found were, instead of having 14,000 drawings for a 7-minute cartoon, they only had to draw 2,000 cartoons. So I just found that interesting. I like something I would have changed about the Yogi Bear and Boo Boo figurines. Boo Boo's fine. It's just I would have liked Yogi to have a picnic basket in his hand, because part of Yogi's gimmick is that he stole picnic baskets. And Boo Boo would tell him, Yogi, I don't think that's a good idea. Ranger Smith's gonna get mad. And Ranger Smith would get mad at Yogi for stealing the picnic baskets, because he would chase away people. So that's why I think that Yogi should have had a picnic basket in his hand. Boo Boo, there's really nothing. As I said with Ranger Smith, I like that he has the stern look on him, like he's yelling at Yogi. Ranger Smith was always a secondary character to me. Actually, I didn't really watch a lot of Yogi Bear. I just knew enough about him that I knew that he said the hey boo boo. So, but recently, actually, I think it was in 2011, they came out with a live action Yogi Bear cartoon where Yogi Bear was voiced by Dan Aykroyd. Justin Timberlake was the voice of Boo Boo, and Tom Cavett, fans of The Flash know as Professor, played Ranger Smith in the live action version. So I haven't watched it, to be honest, so I don't really know much about it. So if I had to give these rankings, I would give Boo Boo a 5. I would give Yogi a 4.5, only because he's missing a picnic basket. And I'd give Ranger Smith a 5. I mean, it looks like him. They gave him a good stance. Let's give him a little bit of love. He's kind of the forgotten one of this set, where Yogi and Boo Boo are the ones that are worth a little bit more, where Ranger Smith is kind of just like the, hey, I came along too, bring me. And I guess people sold him as part of the set because they knew that it would be difficult for them to sell him a standalone. So, those are two of the most important pops in my collection, not for monetary value, but for emotional value. Now, before I go, I'd like to share with you something that was sent to me. Tony M. from Queens, New York sent me a poem that I'd like to read. Sit and watch A Pauper's Pit. John shows what's cool and what's a hit. He'll show you what's good and what you should care about. If he don't like it, he'll stand up and shout. So give it a watch, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or go take a hike. Thank you very much, Tony M., for that poem. Now, you can send me things, too, if you want, via my Instagram at The Pauper's Pit, my Facebook at The Pauper's Pit, or I have my email address, thepauperspit@gmail.com, in the description below. I eventually am going to ask people to send me photos of your pop collection, and we'll show them off and give them a little bit of love. Now, also, talking about the description box, I'd like to point out to look at the Pals of the Pit. Two of them specifically are the Empty Arena podcast, which I was a guest on 2 episodes ago, The Return of the King of the Ring, and the S&D podcast, which the shirt was up last episode. They're very good. They're Pals of the Pit, and I just like to promote them. So, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family, If you don't like the show, tell people you don't like. That way that there's no better way to torture them with something that you don't like, right? So as long as I get the views, that's all that matters. So let's end this on a pop. Thanks for popping by. Make sure to please hit that like, share, and subscribe button, as well as pressing that bell icon. That way you can be alerted the next time the Poppers Pit has a new video. Also, check out my other videos. Leave a comment. Check out the description, which has a couple of links to the Pals of the Pit. Alright, can't wait to see you next time.
Like, share, subscribe are the buttons to hit when you pop on by to the Poppers Pit.